Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। सर्व वेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविंदं परमानंदं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोस्म्यहम्। Hari Om. So we were seeing the verses of Vivekachoodamani up to 497. The 498th verse, the student is talking about the revelation that he is experiencing in many verses. Sthuladibhava maikalpita brahmat aropitana spuranena lokaihi kale yatha kalpaka vatsarayana Nartvadayo Nishkala Nirvikalpe. So, Stuladi Bhava Mai Kalpita Brahmad. I have imagined existences like gross, material, matter is a strong belief in my mind. I have imagined this. How did that belief come into me? Brahmat, because of my delusion. Aropita anuspuranena lokaihi, by constant superimposition on what I see. I say what I see, this tumbler is real, this paper is real, the clock is real, the pen stand is real. So from childhood, I've been making these superimpositions. Anuspurana means constantly experiencing and reinforcing that belief. Lokaihi, by the world. Kali yatha kalpakavat sarayanaha. Now there is only one time. But we imagine, we superimpose days, nights, paksha, 15 days, weeks, then 27-day cycle, monthly cycle, 1 year cycle, annual cycle, 20 years, like you have, it is called a 20-year period is called a score years, one generation of 20 years. And then you have Masak, Abda, Kalpa, one mantra, etc. On time means on life. All this is superimposed. In the same way, I have superimposed the thought of object of the world in consciousness. Why did I do that? Brahma. Because I was not clear in the beginning itself. I did not have a clue. We don't know about it. We go through our life without knowing about it. And most people, they go through their life and they complete their life also without this knowledge. Aropitam nashraya-doshakam bhavet kadapi mudhair atidosha-dushitaihi nardrikarotyushara bhumi bhagam marichikavarin Mahapravaha. However, what is being superimposed by ignorant people? Ignorant people means the people who are not aware of this presence of one consciousness are ignorant. And they have superimposed this world means they say this is there, that is there, that is there, that is there, this object is there, this person is there, this situation is there, or these objects, these persons, these situations, this is good, this is bad. Everything is being viewed only by one mind, by only one viewer. But we are superimposing the differences and saying that these differences are existing. But at any point of time, though in a desert you will see a mirage, the water of the mirage is never ever going to wet the desert. In the same way, in this whole universe, you see so many differences that is not going to create an impact in the one who knows the truth. Even in the desert, if the child doesn't know it's a mirage, the child will run towards that mirage to quench her thirst or his thirst. But for the person who knows, they will know that there is no water there. And they will not think that there is some wet earth in that place. In the same way, for the person who has realized the truth, he knows that there is no world out there. There is only the vision of reality, of consciousness, that's shining its light on every thought, every word, every emotion, every experience within the body. Only that is real. Ashraya dosha. So, the superimpositions are not going to affect the substratum on which they are superimposed. The desert is the substratum on which the mirage is superimposed. The mirage is not going to wet the desert. In the same way, consciousness is the substratum on which this world is superimposed. This world will not at any point of time affect consciousness. This is a key understanding that we need to have in life. Whenever we face problems, we should tackling problems or solving problems is one thing. But problem is a superimposition on consciousness. When we realize this truth, the problem itself is not there. We don't need to do anything about it because the problem isn't there in the first place. The problem is only a dreamy thought in the mind of individuals. So how does the superimposition look like? Akashavat lepa viduragoham adityavat bhasya vilakshanoham aharyavan nitya vinishchaloham ambodhivat para vivarjitoham. So who am I actually? I am Akashavat lepa viduraha. Nothing can be plastered on the sky. No paint can be put on the sky. No cloud can stick itself on the sky. The sky is far away from being touched by any object. In the same way, I am not touched by anything. Adityavat bhasya vilakshanoham. Like the sun, I am different from the object which the sun is different from the object which illumines. In the same way, I am different from the object I see, hear, taste, smell, and touch, feel, think about. I am different. This is nothing but, in modern day language, it is called cognitive behavior therapy, to separate the seer and the seen so that our problems are dissolved completely. This is a treatment method that is given under the name of cognitive behavior therapy. It is distinguished between I am the seer and the object is a seen. I am untouched by the object that I see. Aharyavat. Aharyavat nitya vinishchalaha aham. Like the mountain, which is which is well made up with many trees, plants, rivers, animals, people, houses. Many things exist on the mountain. But the mountain itself, the objects may move, the water may fall, the trees may shed their leaves. Everything moves around the mountain, but the mountain is steady. In the same way, there are many things that seem to be superimposed on the self, but I am without any movement. Ambodivat paravivarjitaha aham. Like the ocean, I am free of all shores. Like the big ocean, where you cannot see the shores of the ocean on all sides, I, the self, am like that. न मे देहेन सम्बन्धो मेघेनैव विहायसः अतः कुतो मे तद्धर्म जाग्रत्स्वप्नसुषुप्तयः न मे देहेन सम्बन्धः. I don't have any connection with the body. Like the sky has got nothing to do with the clouds. The clouds are not in the sky. The sky is existing. The clouds come and go. Ataha kuto me tad dharma. How can I have the dharma of the body, the qualities of the body? Jagrat, swapna, sushupti. Jagrat is when the waking state identifies with the gross body. Everything comes alive. We are able to experience a gross world. That is Jagrat. When the waking state identifies with the subtle body, we experience Swapna or dream. When the waking state identifies with the causal body or Sattva Guna, we call it deep sleep state. So, deep sleep. Deep sleep is when there is Rajas and Tamas mixed. When it is Shuddha Sattva Guna, it's a state of meditation. Jagrat Swapna Sushuptayaha. These things don't affect me. Upadhirayati sayeva gacchati sayeva karmani karoti bhunkte sayeva jiryan mriyate sadaham kuladrivannischala eva samstitaha. Upadhihi ayati. The upadhi comes. Upadhi means the limiting adjuncts. Body, mind and intellect. They come. Saeva gacchati. They go. Saeva karmani karoti. The body, mind and intellect only does work. I don't do work. The body, mind and intellect does work. Bhunkte. The body, mind and intellect only enjoys and it takes in and experiences. Saeva jiryan mriyate sada. Sorry. Sada aham kuladrivat. Saeva jiryan. This body, mind and intellect, when it withers away, when the energy is becoming lesser and lesser, there is no power to sustain the body. When there is no power to sustain the body, the mind and intellect also separate from the body, because the mind and intellect are there with the body only because of this connecting power. When that power denudes, the body just withdraws, the mind and intellect take off. Eka. So, sayeva jiryan mriyate sadaham. This body, mind and intellect only go through the process of death. Sadaham kuladrivat. I am all the time like the the Kula mountain or the Meru mountain, it is very steady all the time. The Meru mountain does not shake, does not move, does not explode into any volcano. Nischala eva samstitaha. I am staying very steadily like the Mount Meru. न मे प्रवृत्तिर्न च मे निवृत्तिः सदैकरूपस्य निरंशकस्य एकात्मको यो निबिडो निरन्तरो व्योमेव पूर्णः स कथं नु चेष्टते न मे प्रवृत्तिः न च मे निवृत्तिः. I don't have anything to do to engage in this world. I don't have to withdraw from anything. Because why? I am always one. Sada eka rupasya. I don't have any parts. Only when there are parts, movement is possible. For the whole, there is no movement. Space has got no parts, and that is why space is not doing anything. Space cannot move from one place to another. Space cannot think. Space cannot act because it does not have any parts to it. Niramshakasya. Eka atmakaha. I am that one self. Yaha nibidaha. This one self is not something like a minute particle that is there inside me and inside you. It is everything. It is unbroken. In that self, we all exist. Nirantaraha. There is nothing inside and outside for the self. Just like there is nothing like space inside and space outside. Everywhere the space is the same. The self, that is consciousness, is present everywhere, inside and outside. Vyomeva purnaha. I am complete like the sky. Katham nu cheshtate. How can I do any work? Punyani papani nirindriyasya nischetaso nirvikriter nirakrite kuto mama khanda sukhanubhute brute hyananvagatame shrutihi. Punyani papani nirindriyasya nischetasaha nirvikritehe nirakritehe kutaha. How can there be? Punya means a happy state of mind. Papa means a sad state of mind. How can there be a question of happy state and sad state for one who is free of all indriyas or power of the senses? Nischetasaha. No special consciousness about anything. Only consciousness. Nirvikritehe. No modifications. Nirakritehe. No form. Kutaha. From where do I have punya and papa? Which means I don't have any punya and papa. When I say I, when you listen, you should address this to yourself as I. Otherwise, this realization is a very distant dream. Mama akhanda sukha anubhutehe brutehi ananvagata gatam ityapi shrutihi. Not touched. The Shruti also mentions this. For I am the realization of absolute bliss. And then who is not touched by anything? Who is impervious to anything? Who has not been touched by anything? Ananvagatam punyena, ananvagatam papena, tirnohi tada sarvan shokan. Tirnohi sada sarvan shokan hridayasya bhavati. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, chapter 4, verse 3, 22. Punya and Papa don't touch me. Tirnohi satada sarvan shokan. Because sin does not touch me, happiness does not touch me, sadness does not touch me. I have transcended all sorrow. I am untouched by merit, untouched by sin, and in the deep sleep, gone beyond all mental agitations. Chayaya sputamushnam vam, sheetam va sushtu dushtu vam, nasprishatyeva yat kinchit, purusham tadvilakshanam. Just like this tumbler is somewhat hot, but the shadow of this body, when it falls on this tumbler, it will not get heated by that. Chayaya, sputam, ushnam, cold and heat. Sushtu dushtu, good and bad, will not affect the shadow. Nas prashati eva yat kinchit. In the same way, the Purusha, the Supreme Self, we can understand it in this way. Our awareness, when it hits the body, it is shadow. Our awareness, when it remains as it is the self, light of consciousness. It is like the shadow. It is untouched by anything. This Purusha. Nasakshinam sakshya dharma samsprushanti vilakshanam avikaram udasinam grihadharma pradipavat. Grihadharma pradipavat dehendriya manodharmaha naiva atmanam sprashati aho. This is the cry of the student. Na sakshinam sakshi dharmaha samsprashanti. If the I is seeing this tumbler, the I does not become this tumbler. The light of consciousness is falling on a thought. The light of consciousness does not become that thought. It becomes only in the state of ignorance, when there is no awareness that the light of consciousness is falling on the thought. When the awareness is not there, ignorance takes over. And the ignorance makes us believe that the thought is real, that the feeling is real, the emotion is real. Na sakshinam sakshi dharmaha samsprashanti. The witness, suppose I see a person who is telling lies. I generally, but they say that this is not a very good example. Maybe I see a brave person. I may not immediately become brave because my light of consciousness is falling on that quality. If it is repeated again and again and again, I may get to believe that bravery is my quality and I can become brave. But at the face of it, just because I saw a very daring movie, I cannot become a daring person because the light of awareness only falls. It is not touched by anything. Samsprashanti virakshanam. That light of awareness is different. Avikaram udasinam. This light of awareness has no modification. It stands above everything else, meaning it is untouched by anything. Grihadharmaha pradipavata. In this whole room is there are many things in this room, but the light is untouched by anything in this room. In the same way, the light of consciousness is untouched by anything in this room called a body. There is a very beautiful Tirumandiram. Ullam Perum Kovil Unudam Balayam Vallal Piranarku Vaigopuravaasal Tellat Telivarku Jiva Shivalingam Kallappulanaindum Kala Manivilakke Ullam Perum Koil. This mind is a very big temple. Temple means a deity. Unudambu Alayam. No, the Garbhagraha, the mind. Unudambu Alayam. This physical body is a temple. The mind is a Garbhagraha. Tella Telivarku Jivan Shivalingam. For the one who knows the truth, this life alone is Shiva. Kallappulanaindum Kala Mani Vilakke. All the 5 sense organs are actually the light that are turned towards this truth within and shining the light on the deity, which is Shiva, which is nothing other than life, Jiva. Ravir yatha karmani sakshi bhavo vahner yatha daha niyamakatvam rajjur yatha ropita vastu samga tathaiva kutastha chidatmano me. Ravehi yatha karmani sakshi bhavam. When the sun rises, everybody begin doing their work. People sweep their front courtyards, temples are open, homes are open. The milkman comes and drops the milk. The paper man comes and drops the paper. All work is happening. People go on the roads. The sun is not making anything happen. The sun is not creating or telling people to get up and do work. It is remaining a witness for the work that is being done. Vakhne yata daha niyamakatvam. The fire can burn everything without distinction. Just because a small baby is coming close to the fire will not say, no, I cannot burn. We have to be careful. Daha niyamakatvam. Rajjoho yatha aropita vastu sangha. A rope is connected with the superimposition of a snake. There is a rope, and on the rope, I have the image of a snake in my mind. So because of the presence of the rope, this thought is arising in my mind. So too, tatha eva kutastha chidatmano me. Because I am there, I am already existing, I am experiencing that I exist. Without the self being there, without life being there, we cannot experience the presence of life. It's as simple as that. So life is there, consciousness is there. That's the answer. Kartapi va karayitapi naham bhoktapi va bhojayitapi naham drashtapi va darshayitapi naham soham swayam jyotir anidrig atma. I. Saha, that consciousness, I am. I am not the doer. Karta api. Nor do I make other people do things. Karayitapi naham. Bhokta api. I am not the enjoyer. Bhojayita api naham. I am not the one who makes other people enjoy also. Drashta api va darshayita api naham. I am not the seer. I am not the one who shows something to others to see. Saha aham. I am that consciousness. What is it? Swayam jyotihi. It is a light shining by itself. Anidrik. You cannot compare it with something else and say this consciousness is like that. Anidrik means it is not like anything else. Atma, this I. Chalatyupadhau pratibimbalaulyam aupadhikam mudhadhiyo nayanti swabimba bhutam ravivat vinishkriyam kartasmi bhoktasmi hatosmi hanti. Chalati upadhau. It is a conditioning that is moving. The water that is moving. Pratibimba laulyam. So there is movement of the image that is on the water. Upadikam mudhadiyo nayanti. But the people think, for example, the moon is reflected in the water is shaking, and so the image of the moon appears to move for the small child. The small child tells the father, see daddy, the moon is moving. The moon is not moving, the water is moving. In the same way, I am not moving. The upadhi or the body, mind and intellect are changing and moving. Pratibimba laulyam aupadhikam mudadiyaha nayanti. People of dull intellects are talking that the body is moving, the breath is moving, the mind is thinking, the intellect is deciding. They attribute all these things to the body, mind, breath and intellect. Ravibimba bhutam ravivat nishkriyam. The sun, it is reflected on something. The object on which the sun is reflected may shake, but the sun is not shaking. The sun is not moving. Karta asmi. In the same way, the light of consciousness is reflected on the actions we do. The light of consciousness is reflected on the thoughts we think. The light of consciousness is reflected on the words we speak. But we say, I speak, I think, I feel, I do, I enjoy, I suffer. We have to learn this to distinguish between the I and what all is not I. We'll continue with some 10 verses tomorrow. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asato Mam Sadgamaya Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Boliye Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadeva. Hari Om.